must be great to hear for you this morning, Curtis. Just explain, what is the advantage of having a hometown Olympics?
Good morning. Yeah, it would be amazing. For me, I think it's a little bit far away for me to be still an athlete, but having a home crowd, having your family and friends and everyone in your nation around you so close, and it'll be a fantastic opportunity for us to highlight both sport, Australian sport, and disability sport to our home nation. So I'm really excited that this could potentially happen. There's a bit of a foot in the door situation happening, and I think all the work and everything that everyone's done to get to this point, I can really appreciate, and I'm sure all other athletes will be the same.
You're selling yourself short, Curtis. Ruling yourself out of 2032 already. Why?
As an athlete, you've only got sort of like a little window that you can really peak, perform at the highest level, and that's what it takes at both the Olympic and Paralympic levels. And for us to have the opportunity to have potentially home games is something that every athlete would dream to have. And we always hear about the stories, especially my fellow Paralympians and teammates that competed in the Sydney Games, and how magical and amazing that was for them. And I hope that the future Paralympic movement can have that opportunity as well.
Absolutely. Where did you win your gold medal?
So I competed in the 2016 Rio Paralympic Games, right under the Christ Redeemer statue. So a pretty amazing location, and the landscape there was pretty remarkable. But the home crowd will be just as big and just as excited as what we had in Rio, for sure.
Interesting, the Rio Olympics had the shadow of Zika virus hanging over it. That was a really big health scare. Tokyo, we know, has the same essentially, but with a far worse global pandemic in COVID-19. Talk to us about what athletes are feeling with Tokyo being delayed already, and already doubts over whether it can go ahead at all this year. How hard is that?
Yeah, the Olympic and Paralympic movement have really been kicked in the guts in the last 18 months. And it's, for this news to potentially happen is really, comforting and nice to hear. But, we're still working towards, all the athletes are still working towards the Tokyo Games. And it's 6 months from yesterday till the Paralympics kicks off. And I think about 147 days or something like that for the Olympic Games. So it's not really that far away, but at the same time, we're still committed to the goal. Those goalposts have just shifted, and we're still working hard. Training is really difficult, and we just have to remind ourselves what our goals were when we set out for this Olympiad, and this quadrennial moving forward and looking towards our goals, and we're all working towards that, and not just the athletes, but all the support staff and our family and support as well.
Yeah, well, Curtis McGrath, we really hope for your sake the Tokyo Olympics does go ahead. But just finally, how have you had to change your training? Obviously you've just explained how difficult it is to get your head around and how mentally tough you need to be to prepare yourself for what's ahead. Any tactics you're using? Are you working more in groups? Are you, just keeping each other very positive before Tokyo?
Yeah, I'm fortunate here on the Gold Coast that we've got a centralised Olympic program that a little bit of integration can happen with the Paralympic athletes. So we're really lucky to be able to, draw some experience from those coaches and athletes and look towards, what they're doing and what we're doing and come together. So that's really nice. But, unfortunately, our country's so large, and, as we see the rolling lockouts that happen around the country, it makes competitions really tough. So we're not having our national championships as they would be scheduled next month, so we're having to push them to May, and that's been something that we're trying to work with and try to be as flexible as possible. So it's it's interesting, but it's nice to have a good team and working towards the Tokyo goals.